Hello and welcome, as it is the end of the 16th day of January 2018. Everything is within your own risk and your own reward. So a lot of different things. Going to go over Bitcoin, Litecoin, and just talk about how I'm changing my trading strategy. Thus the videos are essentially going to change just a little bit. Breaking below this support level is what the market looks like is what it's doing. The resistance area on any short-term moves I would figure to be somewhere within this previous support level. And as mentioned, the 8,000 or so area, or this previous handle, is where I would think support is going to be coming into place. The one thing that Bitcoin is really known for doing good things is the failed move, fast move. And that's when it has to break down, this case is in the bullish one because the polar opposite's true as well. You have to have an established key level of support, which is that area in which I draw. And it has to have a clear break. And remember, it's got to clearly break this level here. And it's barely breaking it now. So if any situation comes in where it comes anywhere down towards these levels, and then it quickly bounces back to the 11,000, 12,000 range relatively fast, especially if you see it jump into the 13,000, 14,000 area within the next couple of days after such, you're looking at the failed move, fast move, and great gains to follow after such. But I'm just talking about what could happen when you look at the markets later on. So it's always adjusting to what the message of the market states. Switching the time frame to the 400-minute, which is used as a nice measure from the daily one or the next shorter one. And I use 400 because this makes this blue line represent the 5-day moving average. The current period has had this interesting move up to this level after the previous period came down to here, and it's falling with a red candle breaking what we can tell without even looking at a 15 or 20-minute time frame, because it's going to show us that it has broken through this support mark. And because of that, then there's definitely a reason why even now this thing could very easily continue on with further losses. At the same point, any rallies that come in, short-term resistance, well, that's roughly where I would be guessing to where it would go. When you have a move like this, oftentimes the first moves that would manufacture itself close to the 18 average of highs is probably not going to withstand a decent sell-off. So therefore, if you have a situation where the market rallies up to, say, well, again, the 18 average in here, that even bullishly are most likely going to at least make a nice significant higher low, or it's just a bearish lower high that's going to make a lower low later on. And for the market, of course, to show any type of strength moving forward, it's got to make sure that it can manufacture a nice bullish setup above the 18. And for now, it's got a long ways to go just to stabilize the situation outright right now. Litecoin is the next chart, 400-minute time frame to start, which we can see on the current period that it has resisted the 18 average of lows rather. What I am not doing, and I've thought a little bit about it, but not even maybe, is playing any more of the United States dollar tether. But if you do, and it's an interesting strategy price action could easily move down to the 100 range, where I would consider that to be a premium buying situation. This market had its sideways range. Same rules apply for the failed move, fast move. Now, I think now, after the market has had 2 hits of this level, that if it breaks below it, and you see a significant break, we're looking at below 150, so it goes down to 120 or something lower. The same thing mentioned about Bitcoin. If it fastly moves back to its previous trading range, which is pretty difficult to point out where that would be, definitely at least resisting support, which would be around here at this stage. And let's change the time frame out a little bit to a daily one, and we'll put some trend lines in to start this off. Well, there's a resistance level. As far as support, as I was mentioning, this level right now is not holding as such. The next thing to look at is it was in a descending triangle. It has obviously broken its pattern to the downside. So even if it makes a rally quickly back, that would be enough even for it to be a failed move, fast move. If it just happens to come back now, what day is it today? Tuesday. So by Wednesday, Thursday, if the price action is back in here, then the early flag warnings for this thing to skyrocket would be in place. Now, that's not probable to happen after this down move. It's most likely that any rallies that do occur up to this point will entitle resistance, but we can already see that we've already entangled that within today's action, that it doesn't surprise me if this continues to head down lower to the previous 100 major resistance level of before, or where it came from back around here as its next price target if it goes lower. Now, as far as markets are concerned, the ones that I care about at this stage are limited to Bitcoin against that of silver. Bitcoin against the fiat currency. Bitcoin against Litecoin. Gold against fiat, gold to silver ratio. Dash against Bitcoin. Litecoin against silver. That's an interesting one because I've been meaning to buy silver with Litecoin and not Bitcoin. I don't know what the ratio is. That's why the asterisk is there. But I'm considering Litecoin as a much, much, much better coin than that of Bitcoin. Of course, Litecoin against fiat. Extra bytes, the only alternate coin that I'm playing right now against Bitcoin. And then silver against fiat, and the Canadian dollars against the US dollar. So for myself, I am holding just Bitcoin, Litecoin, and extra bytes in that of exchanges. Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dash in hard storage. So I will no longer be making trades the old school traditional methods, and rather focus on how many Litecoins I can make per day. And it's tedious, simple work. It reminds me of working in a factory, and I used to, at $18.50 an hour, take 2 cream of wheat packages, one with my left hand, one with my right hand, and put them into a moving thing, and just it was boring work, but it paid okay. Of course, Doing this is the same thing, just making more than $18.50 per hour though. So therefore, trading extra bytes, I can increase the Bitcoin total. And that's what the strategy is for that play. I was trading it before via Litecoin, and I was excited to do such. However, the Litecoin base market was closed, and now after the last few days trading Litecoin against Bitcoin the way that I have been doing, making a decent amount of Litecoin per day, well, over one, that I feel that I can probably do even better just eliminating the other alternate coins that I had. And even a few days ago, before the markets were falling, I mean, crypto's altcoins even more so, I got out of about 10 or 11 coins. One being Neo, which was doing well afterwards, but a lot of other ones were just falling. I'm like, okay, this is working well for me. And then today I just thought, you know what, it's probably easier just to focus my time and energy towards this, eliminate the work I was doing with the other coins, realizing that, okay, I could miss out on gains, for that matter losses as well too, either way, on plays, but I'll be making gains that I would have had there this way that I'm doing such. Now, having extra volume to work with now. And moving forward, you can expect the charts to be mainly the four regarding to Bitcoin, Litecoin, and precious metals, the four because of gold and silver. And the currency dollar index is related to precious metals. The Canadian dollar cross with the US dollar is important for two reasons for me. One, because it's a good indicator for the silver market, and two, I'm a Canadian, so where I need to cross US dollars, it's something that needs to be done. And therefore other videos based on portfolio management and situational things, like the situation going now with cryptos falling. You know, situational stuff like, hey, how you doing? BitConnect fell. I know some of you might be in it. However, that's the risk reward sense, and I'm hoping that if you're into altcoins like this, you're into several dozen others that, well, you're going to have to take a hit like this. But markets fall huge. And if I wasn't subscribed to JSnip4's channel, I'd have no idea this was even happening to this code. Within other alternate coins, I'm just going to take a random one. And this one being Komodo. It's actually in a very interesting situation because what am I supposed to say is most likely to occur next? One, resistance somewhere around in here because that's this area of consolidation, or that's equivalent percentage move down, or I'll just draw something like this. So I have no idea what's likely to occur next. Either a play to the bottom end here, or a play to the previous level of resistance. And then, of course, if it's a play to this, that doesn't mean that's where support would be found. It's just it would hit there and it could very easily head lower. But now let's just talk about the psychology of the trades. Okay, so let's just assume you bought in here. If you didn't sell, now you're barely profiting. If you bought in here and you didn't sell, well, you're practically close to even. And then, of course, the situation of buying up in the higher levels. And I never understood why people buy when the market's in the upper ends in here. It just, to me, doesn't make any sense. Rather, if I'm going to be a buyer of any codes, I would rather wait for the price to come down to key support levels. And after this level was breached, that meant buying anywhere in here was reasonably fine. It's okay when you hit it again after you have a substantial rally. This one's okay of a rally, so it's an okay of a buy here. So we'll see how okay of it is, but the reason why it's only okay is because it's fragile for being hit further, and then when markets go down towards these levels, those who are buying in here really start to panic because, oh my goodness, I put in, say, 5,000 in this and now it's worth like 2,500 or whatnot, or 2,000. The name of the game is, that's the wild volatility this has. Okay, now let's move on to Bitcoin again. And we're going to look at the 3-day time frame. Price action has fallen below the 18 average. And what it has not done within the span of this chart is do any kind of moves that stay below it. None of these not for long. A little bit in the start of the year, March of 2017. But it was only for a little bit and for barely below it back in here. Myself, when I was doing videos on this, I really started doing it back in here and noticed that it was showing some interesting situations. And I ended up getting into Bitcoin originally around this point, and then there was people getting into Bitcoin here and here and here and here. And at this stage, those who did so are still holding profits. At least those who don't make a lot of bad trades, like buying high and selling low. But throwing that part aside, people, earlier adapters, people who have been in longer, of course, are going to still be holding profits, but they're going to notice it's down a while since around Christmas. But the big one is the people who just recently got in around that time frame. Maybe they bought at 16, 17, 18, 19,000, and well, now it's barely holding on to 10,000 at this stage. So they're down a decent chunk. They put in 10 grand and they're worth about 6 grand now. That's going to frustrate a lot of people. And then how many people are going to panic and then sell and then contribute to what could be a move to what would be the next level, the 8,000 mark. And I don't think that there's going to be any sustained sell-offs, because I want to now talk about the Webbot and how amazing it has really been. When I bought the last report, and I bought it the day or the day after it came out, I think it was shortly after Christmas, but don't quote me on the date. And I was browsing through it. I got to read through it again. I've only read through it the one time. And after reading it, the thing I was thinking is, geez, it might not be so good coming up in the next little while, or it might not be till into February before these things really pick up. So when I see this, it doesn't surprise me, and I am very confident as an investor and as a trader to be using Bitcoin as a mechanism to make more Litecoins. To have Bitcoin as a mechanism to use it as a common use of cryptocurrency buying and trading. And therefore, that's basically how I'm playing it out. If it's wrong, but the Webbot has been so correct and precise. Now, one interesting aspect to it, when you look back at its history, especially with the gold and silver market, is that they, when you try to search words for gold and silver, the context for those words is used in so many different forms, where the context to the word Litecoin and Monero and Ripple and Bitcoin, although Bitcoin is getting extra content usage towards it these days, but throwing that aside, it makes it easier for his strategy, which is cliff high. Now, every single time I just bring up the Webbot, there's always one person every, or 5 people every 8 or 9 videos that will ask me about it. If you're unsure about it, you can search the Webbot cliff high, and you'll find a lot of information. Is information's at halfpasthuman.com. But it's been very, very wild. So I'm confident holding Litecoin. The strategy to increase it, I think it will work out very, very well. So thank you for tuning in to this video, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.